So whatever your age, whatever your background, whatever your religious or ethnic or racial identity, whatever your religious point of view, whatever your sexual orientation, if you are a person of goodwill, you are welcome here just as you are. Let us cultivate boundless goodwill. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none in anger or ill will wish another harm. Even as a mother watches over her child, so with boundless mind should one cherish all living beings, radiating friendliness over the whole world, above, below, all around, without limit. These are words freely adapted from Dylan Thomas's great memoir and reflection of Christmas, A Child's Christmas in Wales. I say years and years ago, when I was a boy, when birds the color of red flannel petticoats whisked past the heart-shaped hills, when we rode the daft and happy hills bareback, it snowed, and it snowed. Here a small boy says, "It snowed last year, too. I made a snowman, and my brother knocked it down, and I knocked my brother down. And then we had tea." I say our snow was not only shaken from white wash buckets down the sky, it drifted out of the arms and hands and bodies of the trees. Snow grew overnight on the roofs of the houses and settled on the postman opening the gate, like a thunderstorm of white, torn Christmas cards. The boy says, "Were there postmen then, too?" "Oh, yes," I say, with sprinkling eyes and wind-cherried noses. On spread frozen feet they crunched up to the doors and mittened on the doors manfully. But all that the children could hear was a ringing of bells. "You mean that the postman went rat-a-tat-tat and the doors rang?" "Oh, no. I mean that the bells the children could hear were inside them." We sing our children. My first reading is familiar to all of you, a poem by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, which we sing this time of year, every year. I heard the bells on Christmas Day, their old, familiar carols play, and wild and sweet the words repeat of peace on earth to all goodwill. I thought how, as the day had come, the belfries of all Christendom had rolled along the unbroken song of peace on earth to all goodwill. And in despair, I bowed my head. There is no peace on earth, I said, for hate is strong and mocks the song of peace on earth to all goodwill. Then pealed the bells more loud and deep. God is not dead, nor doth God sleep. The wrong shall fail, the right prevail, with peace on earth to all goodwill. Till ringing, singing on its way, the world revolved from day to day, a voice, a chime, a chant sublime of peace on earth to all goodwill. And then a reading, the source of which I can't seem to remember or locate, but I don't think it's necessary to know where it came from in order to appreciate the words. In 1991, Lee Atwater apologized for what he had done to Dukakis and other Democratic enemies. Dying from a brain tumor, Atwater published an extended mea culpa in Life magazine. Long before I was struck with cancer, he said, I felt something stirring in American society. It was a sense among the people of the country, Republicans and Democrats alike, that something was missing from their lives, something crucial. I was trying to position the Republican Party to take advantage of it. I wasn't sure exactly what it was. My illness helped me to see that what was missing in our society is what was missing in me. A little more heart, a lot of brotherhood. And then with forgivable grandiosity, Atwater called for the leaders of the 90s to speak to this spiritual vacuum at the heart of American society, what he called this tumor of the soul. The mantra of these Christmas weeks is peace on earth, goodwill to all. This ancient religious message of the season displayed everywhere we turn, even in our increasingly secular world. Or is it so secular? The influence of religion worldwide has surprised us, has surprised everyone in recent years. On the positive side, Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. come to mind immediately, both agents of transformation in our time who drew directly on their religious traditions, on their Hindu and Judeo-Christian religious traditions, respectively, to challenge social and political injustice and suffering to an extent that reshaped national policy, realigned international stakeholders. On the negative side, in our own era, we've seen the wholesale murder of millions of Jews simply because they were Jews, and the slaughter of myriad innocents in Bosnia because they were, well, either Muslims or Christians. Now, since 9/11, we are faced with a conflict of global proportions between two cultures with sharply different religious traditions, a conflict wreaking great violence, in which religion is a central factor. Why is this so? Since there is demonstrably so much common ground in the world's diverse religious traditions. Keep in mind that historically the God of the Muslims, Christians, and Jews is the same God, a God which all three groups insist is a God of peace. And also keep in mind that Muhammad enjoined his followers to embrace Christ's teachings and insisted that his own prophecy was built on the prophecy of Jesus. At the moral center of the great religions is a common theme. Christians say, "Do unto others what you would have them do to you." Muslims say, "No one of you is a believer until he desires for his brother that which he desires for himself." Hindus say this is the sum of duty. Do not unto others which would cause pain if done to you. And Jews, what is hateful to you, do not to your fellow man. Sikhs, treat others as you would be treated yourself. Buddhists, hurt not others in ways that you yourself would find hurtful, and on and on and on. A variety of gifts, we say, but the same Spirit. So what gets in the way? I think a factor of major significance is a certain confusion about the difference between belief and faith. That is, our tendency to mistake a particular set of beliefs for what religion is really about. Consider the Jains, for example. That's spelled Jains. The Jains are, as some of you know, I'm sure, a Hindu sect. And the Jains believe literally that there are 7, count them, 7 levels of heaven. The top level is reserved for liberated souls. The next level down is the realm of the gods. The next, the earthly realm, the continent of the rose apple tree, as they call it, is divided into 7 regions in turn and by 6 mountain ranges. Deliverance is possible in only 3 of these regions. Aravat, which is just to the north of India, Mahavidya, which is in the middle, and to the south, India itself. Only in this geographical area, mind you, is human salvation, human fulfillment possible, according to Jainist belief. If we live anywhere else, we're just out of luck. Not too different in principle, though, from the Church of Christ in which my wife Lily grew up in Marietta, Ohio, which believes that salvation is possible only in the Church of Christ. Now, Jains also believe, literally, that there are 8 hells, 7 more than we have to worry about, which become progressively not hotter but colder as they go down into the bowels of the earth. But now listen to this. Jains also believe, literally, that every living creature, a human, a mouse, a weed, a zucchini, an ant, a bacterium, has a soul. Every living thing has a soul, according to Jainist belief. And every soul is of infinite value. Therefore, the taking of any life anywhere must be avoided. This is why Jains filter their drinking water. They wear if they're serious, they wear a fine fabric across their mouths and noses, so as not to kill any more microscopic, but still soul-bearing living creatures than is absolutely necessary. Now, this is only a small part of a richly imaginative and elaborate mythology that the Jains, however, believe literally. Most of us would not believe any of it literally, unless we happened to be born giants, as Lily happened to be born into the Church of Christ in Marietta, Ohio, though she long ago gave up those literal beliefs. Taken not literally but metaphorically, however, taken as symbols, which is the way all religion is actually expressed and communicated and shared. Who among us cannot appreciate the sensibility of the giants, their extraordinary reverence for life, the transcendent and commanding value they place on even the least of these, as our Western Bible puts it? This moral sensibility is the operative faith that emerges out of the giants' mythology. Reverence for life, life as inherently meaningful, worthy, significant, life as of infinite value, whatever its station, along with the ecological ethic, the interconnectedness, the interdependence of all things, of which we are each an integral part and for which we are responsible. That sound familiar? To clarify this distinction between belief and faith, think about faith without reference to any particular beliefs. Think of faith as that which operates in your heart of hearts to awaken your spirit, to energize you, and to sustain you in good times and bad. Faith, so understood, motivates and sustains us. And it motivates and sustains groups as well, institutions, cultures, nations, international agencies. Think of faith in its simplest form as confidence. Think of it as basic, respectful, appreciative, reverent confidence in life and in the common life of the world. Its first element is a confidence in life itself, in the value, meaning, and purpose of life as such. This, in turn, implies confidence in human moral capacity, in human conscience. Whether we think of it as a gift of God, as some of us do, or simply inherently there, as others of us do, the confidence that we humans are capable of caring and of freely choosing the good. This, in turn, includes the confidence that the great destructive forces in persons and in societies at least can be overcome. Not that they necessarily will be overcome. That is up to us. But that we have the capacity to correct things if we exercise the will to do so. And beyond this, it includes the confidence that we may actually enlarge the world. And this is terribly important. This goes beyond overcoming the evil we face, beyond correcting things in the usual sense. It is about vision. Where there is no vision, the people perish. It is seeing that our essential human capacity is our creativity, that we human beings can imagine and invent altogether new and better configurations of life and society, of life for each of us, of life for all of us together. Now, we do resist this fundamental confidence. A result, I think, of our suspicion of change, even our fear of change, fear of the new and the different, the untested, the unexperienced. And finally, there is the basic confidence that truth is one. This is true of not all the great religions, but of the ones to which we have related as the major religions of the world. There may be, in other words, many versions of truth, but truth embraces them all. That is, there is the confidence that there is an essential unity, oneness in existence. Whatever is truly true is true for all. Therefore, whatever is good for us, whatever we deserve, whatever our rightful share, whatever our potential, whatever our value in the scheme of things, others have the same and equal claim to it. You are as I am. I am as you are. The Buddhist monk says, we enter are. We enter are. All humanity is one, as increasingly we're coming to realize that all creation is one. And this claim is also difficult. For most of us, it's human nature, apparently, to want to be set apart somehow above others. The Pharisees, the Sadducees had no corner on it. We have no corner on it in this country in spite of our tendency toward American exceptionalism. These are the basic elements of this confidence I'm calling faith. The list can be longer. You can add things to it. But these are the essentials of a faith for living, and for living well, with humane values, with constructive purpose. And this essential faith does not come to us automatically. The role of religion is to actively cultivate and encourage it. As we say, our motto here, nurture the spirit, help heal the world. Now, for Jainists, such confidence, such basic confidence is undergirded by literal belief in their elaborate mythology. But a non-believer, anyone, anywhere, might affirm this faith as well, out of their life experience, from secular literature, through and from the arts or science, and so on. There are many sources, many models, many scriptures, if you will, for faith so understood. Therefore, whatever your particular belief, Christian, Jewish, pagan, Hindu, Buddhist, Baha'i, Muslim, humanist, Jain, your confidence that life matters and is interconnected, that human action makes a difference, that human conscience and caring and creativity are the way. This confidence, which I call faith, is necessary for living itself, and certainly necessary if we are to sustain our efforts toward a unified world, a unified creation, a unified and humane global community, peace on earth, goodwill to all. To promote this faith, again, whatever the particular beliefs in which they're expressed, is the crucial task of religion. Well, the problem, of course, is that while this basic faith for living is not exclusive to any particular set of beliefs, every organized religion, obviously and unfortunately, tends to want to make it so, to absolutize faith in their own specific beliefs, and to reject other versions as simply incorrect. My revelation has to be better than your revelation. In fact, mine has to be true and yours false, or mine isn't revelation at all, right? In our human nature, we seem to need such certainty. And we tend to find our certainty in whatever is close at hand, what we are most familiar with in our own geography, as for the Jains, in ideas that are taken for granted in our own milieu, unexamined, in loyalty to our kin, to our local church even, like the Church of Christ on the corner that Lily grew up in. We find it in like-minded people. One often hears Unitarian Universalists say, I go to that church because I'm with like-minded people. So that even in spite of ourselves, we tend to view the world through a smaller lens and inevitably narrow our vision to a smaller God, if you will, than the world requires. Even the certainties of our own Unitarian Universalism, in spite of our best intentions, too often ignore useful spiritual insights of others, even demean them. The smaller our vision, the less adequate it is to the larger judgments and claims of our larger world. And in any case, our human insistence on certainty doesn't work. In our human nature, we remain uncertain of the certainties we think we've firmed up. The Bible records the plaintive words in many instances, several different places. Lord, I believe, help thou my unbelief. Well, even our most cherished beliefs can cause us anxiety. The way we typically deal with it is to shut that lens down smaller, rather than take the risk of a more promising option, of opening that lens and viewing with more open curiosity and appreciation and interest the wider and richly diverse range of images in which different religions express the essentials of their basic faith. The more you see of the Jainist myth, the richer it becomes in aesthetic and moral terms, even as it becomes, when considered literally, ridiculous. It wasn't ever intended or meant, I would say, in ultimate terms, to be understood that way. The major obstruction to religion's necessary world influence, then, the nub, is sectarianism. Sectarianism, insistence on our particular beliefs as organized in our religious organization, and intolerance of others. If you're looking for a definition of original sin in times like ours, in our global situation, sectarianism, it seems to me, is a good candidate. As the present international conflict is so amply demonstrating. Insisting on certain beliefs, seeing differences as we tend to see strangers, as the unknown other, as inherently somehow suspicious, as likely the enemy, as dangerous doors of belief that must not be opened, that we fear once opened cannot be closed, rather than as that which might enlarge our understanding individually and together. Mistaking specific beliefs that may seem silly or simply strange to us, mistaking them for those underlying insights and truths they convey, which are common to all persons everywhere, and which are the hope of the world. The hope of the world. It should be clear that for such a large project as world unity and peace, we need a large enough God, whether we understand God literally or symbolically, a God or ultimate loyalty which extends beyond the geography of northern India, beyond the local Church of Christ, beyond our liberal religious enclaves even. To hold any hope for world peace, religion must drive a broadly inclusive, transforming spiritual movement in the world, affirming a wide sense of human meaning and hope and purpose, one that is not limited by any single religion's beliefs, a spiritual movement that seeks to make manifest in the structures of the world, the political and economic and cultural structures of the world, the imagery of the world, the peace to which all the great religious traditions aspire. This is the problem I'm wanting to describe. The promise, the possible responses to this, I hope to have to offer you in January. Let's join together now for some words of aspiration, followed by silent meditation. hear these words of black elk. Then I was standing on the highest mountain of them all, and round beneath me was the whole hoop of the world. And while I stood there, I saw more than I can tell, and I understood more than I saw, for I was seeing in the sacred manner the shape of all things of the Spirit, and the shapes as they must live together like one being. And I saw that the sacred hoop of my people was one of many hoops that make the circle, wide as daylight and starlight. And in the center grew one mighty flowering tree to shelter all the children of one mother and one father. And I saw that it was holy. Our closing hymn is hymn number 240. Please stand as you're able for this closing hymn.